Hello, and we are live. Welcome to the first and hopefully not only episode of What Even Is This, the show where we don't know what's happening. Today I am joined by the very talented Jessa Forest, and she will be telling us about her writing and about a creepy creature. And then we'll be going through and having a nice little book discussion about our buddy read, which is Honor in the Dark by Nate Battalion. But before we go any further, I've been a total pro and I've made a little title sequence. So we're going to play that and you can have a little dance to the music. And there are 3 people watching.
Beautiful.
How
that
exciting.
That intro makes my heart so happy. Every time it's just like, oh.
It makes me happy too.
I think it's the cricket. You know,
yeah.
It's just like, oh.
Aww.
Yes. Love
that
it.
Little cricket's watching. That's one of the 3 people.
Yes. He's like, did I give permission for you to use my picture?
Oh no. Oh no, there's 4 people. Another cricket. It's the cricket lawyer.
Oh God.
So anyway, Jessa, thank you for joining me. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. We totally haven't just done this before coming online.
No, I've never seen you before in my life. I don't even know where this room is. I don't even know. Never seen anything before.
I only know who you are because you put your name on the screen.
There we go. Yep. I did remember.
Speaking of who are you, let's move into the first segment. Are people going to get really annoyed of just that little bit of music being played?
No, I think that should be the whole thing. Just
in the background.
Just keep going.
that 5 seconds.
Just 5 seconds over and over again. Do it. Caught in a time loop. It's great. Super fun. But yeah, as Lou graciously said, my name is Jessa Forest, and I write speculative fiction and a very gory contemporary fantasy, some gory sci-fi as well. If you like werewolves with guns, that's my main series, The Slaughter Chronicles. And right now my comparison, yes, this my cover is so pretty. My comparison pitch is, it's like if Dr. Moreau from the island of Dr. Moreau was in charge of Glenn Cook's The Black Company, and he gave them all like flamethrowers and grenade launchers. It's pretty much what it is.
We've just got a comment through saying the best kind. I think that's referring to the werewolves with guns.
Ah, fantastic. Yes, they're fun.
I think.
With the pause and that they make it work.
Yeah, how do they fire the trigger?
Yeah, it's difficult. That's where the augmentations come in. I have a character who like performs experiments on a select group of these werewolves, and that's one of the modifications that he gave them, is the ability to have that opposable thumb and extra knuckle. I don't even know what that is. But yes.
So where did the inspiration for werewolves with guns come from?
It actually came from a tabletop RPG campaign that I did with my husband a couple years back. It was a World of Darkness campaign, and I loved the character that I made so much that when the campaign was over, I wanted to continue with her story, and of course, like writing, I tried this writing out from the beginning of the campaign, like when we started to the end, and trying to narrate a like role-playing game does not make really good writing. There's lots of like, inside jokes and just things that you can't really describe because it's not, and it's, not in the moment. The spirit's not there. Yeah. So I used that as a basis and just sort of added on a bunch of, and the story is now nothing at all like that, the original game that we did, but except for the werewolves with guns, that's the only thing that stayed.
So are the Slaughter Chronicles the thing that you're working on at the moment, or are they finished and waiting to be released?
Yeah. they're what I'm working on at the moment. I did, let's see, back in 2020, I did release a short story collection that I was intending to be a catch-all prequel for the novels. But then I started writing more short stories and got more into the novels. And I'm actually going to be next January, if all goes well, releasing a second edition of that short story collection with 3 new stories and maps. I got maps
Nice. I love a
commissioned
map.
over this. Yes,
I love a map.
yes. So it's, you know, a lot of stuff's going to be the same, but there's going to be some continuity differences, and new material. Like half of the book is new, so that's super fun. And of course, I had already hoped to have that published, but you know, life gets in the way, and work gets in the way. Yeah. So if things don't get in the way, that is what will be coming out in the future. Right now, I don't know if it's technically a series, but I'm calling it anyway, is a speculative e-shorts. It is a collection of standalone short stories that I publish by themselves. So, you know, if you don't like if you don't like zombies, you can read spanning the speculative fiction genre. Hence the zombies. There is the first story that I wrote and published called Echo has time loops in it. So I thought, yeah, it was like that 5-second time loop. No, there we are. So there's, you know, time traveling nurses, interdimensional gods, eldritch creatures, and zombies so far.
So you name it, you've written about it.
We're trying to anyway. I need like more prompts. So maybe somebody can suggest like, what should I write for the 4th story? Because I don't have any plans for it yet.
Jessa, before we go any further, we've got to be on our best behavior.
Oh,
because Nate Battalion, the author of Honor in the Dark, is here.
Oh my god. Hello. Yes, best behavior. Yeah. Straight posture.
Obviously, we will be.
Of course.
So you mentioned RPGs earlier as an inspiration. Is there anything else that inspires you when it comes to writing?
In general, well, actually, creatures do. Like, you know, nature and just anything that I can sort of think of, like, ooh, what if this was creepy? Okay, which I guess could be anything, which is like not a very good answer. But I love like thinking about like something in nature. Like you say, like a cactus. How can we make a cactus worse? Give it teeth and legs. There you go. So that's so, you know, like stuff around nature, stuff around, and I want to be one of those writers who say that I'm inspired by art, but I don't. I've tried to, you know, like look at a piece of art and like make up a story behind it, and I can never do that. It just does not work. Let's see. And also, I'm inspired by other books that I read, and actually, with as we were reading this book, or this this book, I got my own spaceship idea that I'm kind of dabbling with. So I know something's really good when it gives me an idea for my own thing. Yeah, I talk with my hands a lot too, so sorry.
It's made me really want to write a sci-fi kind of thing as well. Yeah. Jonathan says, short stories are a great way to get more work out there to readers. And as a writer, it gives you a chance to practice a variety of techniques. Very true.
Absolutely.
Also, serialized fiction seems to be coming back in style. It really does. Like, we've got the app that Honor in the Dark is on, which is called, what is it called?
I think it's pronounced Mythrill, but it's like
Mythrill, that's it.
Mythrill, which is really hard trying to find hashtags for in all of the, the professional promoting and marketing that I do for anything writerly that I do. But yeah, Mythrill.
Yeah, and Kindle have started a new serialized fiction thing as well, haven't they?
Yeah, Kindle Vella. Yeah.
Jonathan's on it. So, next question. I'm not sure if you're familiar with an author called Joshua Marcella.
No.
A few months ago, he had a really good podcast called Writers on Wax. I don't know if it's still about out there, but he had to stop it for a while. But on that, he spoke to writers, funnily enough, and he asked them about their relationship with music and how it ties in with their writing. So I'm going to ask you a question that came up a lot on that. When writing, do you prefer to listen to music, or do you prefer total silence? And if you prefer music, what's on your playlist?
So I like both. So, like if I've been at work or in a loud environment, when I go to write, after that, just having silence is just so nice. But I have actually, well, I say recently, probably like in the last year or so, have become aware of dark ambient music, which is its own genre, and it's just like spooky noises, and that's pretty much all I listen to now. It's like
is that like the stuff you get on YouTube?
Yes.
So I often put that stuff on when I'm writing as well.
Yes, where it's just like spaceship noise, like we're talking about, like it's just an engine going, and then maybe there's like some like kind of like ethereal, like you're gonna die now, music.
The soothing sounds of werewolves shooting guns somewhere.
Yes. Yeah, but that's pretty much all I listen to right now to write. I used to be able to write to songs with lyrics, but now I find that too distracting. So
same.
I don't really have a playlist. I wish I'm one of those people. I wish I did, because I actually love other authors' playlists, and especially when they release a list that goes along with the book that they write, I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I wish I could do that.
So I find I'm okay with songs with lyrics if I can't understand them. So if you've got some death metal or something like that, that's fine, because that's the voice just becomes another instrument at that point.
Yes.
But when you can hear the words, it's I'm just going to write down what you're saying.
Yeah.
So what are you reading at the moment, apart from Honor in the Dark, obviously?
Oh gosh. I'm actually trying to go through because I have so many ebooks, just so many. So I'm trying to go through and organize. Right now I am reading a short story collection by another writer friend of mine, Claire Fishback. It's called Lump, and it's got microfiction, some flash fiction pieces, longer pieces, any size, and it's all horror, different kinds of things. She's got spooky houses and underwater laboratory adventures, or that might be in the doll. She's got two short story collections, The Doll Room and Lump. So I might be mixing up what stories are in where, but they're all brilliant. And I love reading short stories because that also gives you the practice, and you get to see different types of writing styles and techniques, in addition to
werewolf is barking.
Oh yeah, does he have his gun? Is that he's looking for his gun?
He can't find his gun.
Oh no.
That's why he's upset.
It's right up.
Should be careful where you leave it, Rusty.
Yeah. But yeah, they're what was I saying? Oh my god. I don't even know. The dog is adorable though. Adorable dog. That's it.
You can just tell from his voice.
Yes, yes. I'm a bark expert. In case I failed to mention that. So
yeah, you did miss that out in the beginning.
Yeah, I can tell size, weight, breed, and what they last had for lunch by just the bark.
I won't ask you to do that now.
It's a skill. No, don't, because you don't want to know.
Okay, moving on.
It's poop. Never mind. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Okay. If you could sit down and have a cup of tea or a beer with any of your characters, who would it be and why?
That is really tough. Probably. Oh, gosh, that is really, really tough.
I should have warned you about that one before.
I know. I'm so betrayed. I know. And the one thing that's like making it hard to answer this question is the two, like, if these characters were real people, I would probably not survive the tea time with them. They would probably kill me before I like got a chance to do anything. So probably So just to answer the question and play it kind of safe, I would probably want to talk to my main character, Regina's brother, who she is estranged from. And he is part of a group, a very fringe, splintered off from the church, the church, not like any specific church, but like, basic religious zealots that like to kill things with fire. Lots of fire, love fire. So I would like to probably talk to him, because being I don't want to say like brainwash, or maybe it is brainwashing and indoctrination into like this one like rigid way of thinking is very interesting to me from a psychological standpoint. And also just like, wow, like you hear about like cults and like, don't drink the Kool-Aid kind of thing. So I would want to talk to him about stuff like that.
Cool. That's a good answer, just off the top of your head.
Oh, thank you. I felt like that was the worst ever.
Okay, so just bringing this little section to a close, where can people find you online? I mean, I know we're going to be talking for like the next however long, but in case people wanted to find you.
For sure. I'm on Instagram as The Slaughter Chronicles. That's my Instagram, and also website I have is the same thing. I'm currently doing a revamp / I don't even know, but trying to make it not suck with my social media. So I'm not really posting a lot right now. But that is where you can find me for updates.
Excellent. Thank you. Before we get into the next section, I'm going to just do a little bit of an intro as to why we're just suddenly going to randomly talk about a creature. When I started posting on this channel quite regularly, it was more of a like booktube kind of channel. Hence why we ended up doing this book discussion. And then I realized I was rubbish at doing book review videos. I never seemed to add anything important to the conversation. So I started posting loads of creature videos. So we're going to try and tie that all together by getting Jessa to talk to us about her favorite creature. But before we do that, we have a title.
Yes.
So, Jessa, it's over to you. You're going to teach us stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to do. Okay, class, here we go. Okay, so my favorite creature of the moment is a nematode, or little worm, called Strongyloides stercoralis. It is an intestinal parasite, and when you get it, when it decides to infest you, it's not a very good time. The disease state that you're diagnosed with, if a doctor finds one of these in in your intestines, or the stuff that comes out of your intestines, is called strongyloides. I'm not good now. I can't do it. Strongyloidiasis, we'll say that. And that symptoms include loss of appetite, abdominal pain, and skin rashes at the point of entry. Fun fact, strongyloides can reproduce both sexually and asexually, and they can also live outside of a host. Most parasitic worms need either like a transfer host to get from their environment where they were laid in as eggs to the human where they can actually complete their life cycle. But strongyloides does not care. It does not need a human. Humans are nice, but they can live just fine on their own. And also, in addition to that, they can, did I just say asexual reproduction?
Yes.
I don't know. It's okay. Yes. Yeah, so they can mate, but they also can, do it all with just one of them, and they don't need each other. So that's fun. And let's see, another fun fact, there are 2 larval stages with this worm. There's the rhabdidiform, and there will be a quiz after this, rhabdidiform and filariform. Those are 2 different larval stages. And the filariform larva, if you don't ingest any of the eggs, the filariform is what burrows into your skin.
Nice. Sounds pleasant.
So yeah, super fun. So yeah, if you ever walk around and you notice a rash like on your foot or something, might be a worm, might not be, but might be a worm. You never know. Wash your hands before you eat stuff.
That's just good advice anyway.
This is good advice anyway, but really,
just do that anyway.
Before you eat stuff.
See, watching you talk about that, I'm like, can I include these in any of my stories?
I think you should. I think there needs to be a Venari parasite that you could like surreptitiously sneak it in, where like one of your characters just gets sick and you don't know why, and it's not even mentioned. It's just they're there and they're sick, but it's like not resolved. And then in the next one, like another character is sick. I don't know. I'm just like throwing that out there, and it's just this mystery. What is this? I think
giving it some serious thought now.
You should.
And I must say, thank you for mentioning Venari, and thank you for promoting it with your
Yes, t-shirt. I have this amazing shirt by this amazing author who writes these amazing books, which I forgot to include, and forgive me. Banished is on the very top of my to read list. I have like 5 books that are at the top, and Banished is, because it's great. Creep is great. I actually found all of your short stories first before I got onto your novels. So we're all about short stories today. Yeah. But love it so much. And you have really great first lines. I want to say, I know this is like supposed to be about strongyloides.
No, we can talk about me. That's fine.
Yeah, let's talk about you. No, Creep, I think, has the best first sentence that I have ever read. Like, it's my favorite out of like any of the other books that I've read. I love that. So anybody who hasn't read Creep, go read it and enjoy just the first sentence.
You don't need to read the rest.
You don't need to read the rest. The first sentence, you're done.
Nate says there's always room for parasite infestations in a story. I think that's season 2 of Honor in the Dark, maybe.
I would like to see the Queen get a parasite.
We have our thoughts for the Queen.
We have,
which is good, because we're just about to do that. I'm just about to deafen everyone with another video. Sorry, I don't know why they're so loud. Just like put your fingers in your ears or something.
Yeah, just don't listen. Walk away. It's fine.
5 seconds. That's it. I couldn't turn through my notes fast enough when the music was on.
That's okay.
It's smooth. No one saw me turning through my pages. It's fine.
No, not at all. No page turning at all.
Yes.
No.
So we are going to talk about Honor in the Dark by Nate Battalion, and Nate is hanging around in the chat there. So hopefully what we're going to say is true. So Honor in the Dark is a serialized story over on Mythrill or Mythrill, however you want to pronounce it. Today we're just going to talk about episodes 1 to 15. There may be some spoilers, but we're right at the beginning of the story, so it's just like a lot of setting the scene and introducing characters at the moment. So I don't think we're going to give anything vital away. Jonathan just said Nate is in the hot seat. It must be so weird, like having two random people on the internet just suddenly start discussing your book while you sit there. How weird.
Unable to interrupt us.
Yeah, all he can do is post comments, and like we might put them up, we might not.
No, I actually feel quite nervous. So
yeah, now I know he's there. I'm suddenly going, oh no!
What do I say? Like, oh God.
Okay, so let's do this. Yeah. Okay, so when we first started talking about doing this buddy read and book discussion thing, not too long ago, Jessa said to me, are we going to just wing it, or are we going to think of questions? And originally I was going to say that let's just wing it, but that would be terrible because we'd just sit here in either complete silence or we'd both try and talk over each other. So I said, oh yeah, let's just do like a handful of questions each, thinking like, yeah, 5 or 6. So I sent my 5 over to Jessa early in the week, and that's cool. Then last night, Jessa sends me this list of questions, and there's like, what, 20?
Like 8? I don't know. I had no sleep.
So, so the question's going to be a little uneven with Jessa doing most of the questioning, but we're both going to give answers to each one. That's the plan. So, Jessa, as you have so many questions, would you like to ask the first one?
Yes, I would. And let's see, I'll just go down the list, starting at the top. So this story, for people who haven't read it, this is a very interesting sci-fi / medieval fantasy mashup that I just adore, those two things coming together. So my first question for you, Lou, having read the first 15, we don't know the rest of it, so this might suck. Everything might just suck. But would you rather be a soldier, a mage, or a battle mage? If you could choose. I mean, you might die with all 3, but you know.
This is true. And knowing my luck, I probably would. But I'd like to think I was cool enough to be a battle mage, but I know I'm not. And in the first 2 episodes, I'm tying it all in, it's good. In the first 2 episodes, we're introduced to a character called Percival, and I feel like I really relate to him. And that's obviously some stuff goes down, and he says a line like, I joined logistics for a reason, and that reason is I'm weak. And I was like, oh, Percival, that would be me. And he's a mage, but he's just like a paperwork pushing mage. So yeah, I'd probably just be a mage, a very scared mage. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, probably same. I would actually love to go the soldier / knight route, but I am very physically weak, and I'm sure even with power armor there would not, and I'm not fast either, so I doubt that I would either miss the fight completely, or I would just be the one like sitting in the middle going, okay, you can just kill me.
Watching the fight going around.
So easy. Yeah. So easy to kill me. Just whatever. But yeah. I do like one of the principal characters of Rufus quite a bit. And I just like, I guess because I live vicariously through characters who have lifestyles that I could never achieve.
Whereas I'm always drawn to the nerdy, scared ones. It's like, that's me. You mentioned there about being a knight. what do you think the coolest, like we don't know a lot about the like void plate armor yet, but what do you think the coolest thing would be about wearing that?
Well, aside from just, you know, wearing it is, if
That's
I
pretty cool,
was in this story, and if I was, and I would probably just walk around just in it, you know, just like look, yeah, shiny. It's very shiny. I really like the power gems.
Yes.
I can't remember now that I say that, I can't remember if they're, I think they are on the armor as well as the weaponry. Forgive me if I'm wrong on that. But I also do like the idea of like you can go out into space in them, I believe, as they go out on the hull of the ship. And having a not spacesuit do that, I think is like really cool.
Yeah, I was wondering if it's like a like all over helmet, or if there's like some kind of force field or something around the face so they can breathe.
Yeah, or if it like
Just
makes it, like
closes.
something pops out. Yeah.
You can't see now. Or maybe it's like Iron Man's helmet and it's got the display.
Yeah,
maybe.
that would be cool. That would be cool too.
Nate, does this come up at all in after episode 15? He's just left now.
He's gone. He's like,
what
no,
the hell is this?
No, we're not doing this. No.
The other thing I really liked, I realized I just jumped in when you're meant to be asking a question, but
sorry. Oh no, you're good. You're good.
The other thing I really like is the casters that the mages have.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of imagine them being like these like super high-tech magic wands.
Mm-hmm. But and I also kind of, now that you've said that, I'm kind of like, well, how can we make like a wand more futuristic? And then I thought of like one of those PowerPoint clickers. Like it's just this tiny little thing. It's just like, next slide, please.
Because what is more futuristic than PowerPoint?
Right.
And Nate has pointed out that there is a lore card available for the void plate. So we should have known that.
There is. Yes. Yeah. And that can tie into another question that's not the second one, but is on the list. How do you like, in addition to the serial presentation with like the pacing and just like the general structure of the large body of work as a serial, but getting these, getting these character cards that give us like deeper views into certain characters or alien species, or in this case the armor, like how do you like that, and does it like, how does it enhance your reading experience, Lou?
At first I was thinking, like when the first one came up, I kind of thought, is this gonna mess with the image I've got in my head? But I really like it. It kind of gives it like an almost game kind of feel.
Mm-hmm.
So I know they haven't got stats on there, but you can kind of imagine there being stats on there as well. So yeah, I think it's a really positive thing. And if it doesn't match up with what's in your head, just ignore it.
Exactly. And I like how you said it's like a game. I look at them as like almost like rewards for getting through the chapters. Like, oh, you made it to this specific point. Here's
Level
the
up.
thing. Yes.
Smiley.
Yes.
So, speaking of things with tech and stuff, do you? I know it's not exactly the same, and I don't know whether this is just because I'm in one of my Warhammer obsession things, but are you getting Warhammer 40k vibes?
You know, when you asked me, when you sent this question in your list, I was trying to think like really, really hard to give like a almost philosophical answer. Please ignore the Imperial Fist flag behind me. No, I don't have a problem. You have a problem. Don't judge me. It's very interesting because I kind of do, but I also kind of don't. And I know that's sort of like I'll try to elaborate on that. So one of the ways the characters definitely give me that Warhammer vibe. But yeah, Cadia broke before the guard did. Yeah. I could say something, but I'm not going to. The having different age ranges for the characters, like there's another mage character, Kodama. I hope I'm saying that right.
I love him.
Yeah, and you have this authority figure, and you have like different ages, whereas most I think what most like popular sci-fi right now is like everybody's like young and pretty. So I definitely like that representation of different ages and different different backgrounds. Everything sort of comes together in that way. Definitely, the power armor does give me a very 40K vibe, which I
think
love.
that's what it was for me as well.
Yes, and also just the situate, like the situation of you've got two different times, and it's almost like outside the ship there's like, it's, to us it's like the future, and like a place where we can't be, and we have no idea what this is, like the possibilities are endless of like what this could be. And then on the inside you have this medieval structure that is familiar to a lot of us who aren't, all of us who are history nerds anyway. So it's something that we can, like, you have the tangible and the intangible together, and that is also gives me that 40K vibe of like the there's this mashup of stuff. Technical word, that technical writer term, stuff. Yes. How about you? What else was it for you about that had the Warhammer vibe?
So you pretty much covered it, and one of the things that gave me a kind of vibe was they're only mentioned a couple of times in the 15 chapters. I've actually cheated, and before reading these 15 episodes I'd read ahead before that, so the 15 were a reread.
Okay.
And soon we're going to find out a lot about the Ungoli. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And although I don't think there's any creatures or races in 40K that are exactly like them, but just going up against these aliens who look really strong, I just got maybe orc vibes. And I love orcs. But yeah,
we do.
I've seen the lore card. They're not orcs.
No, sad. There need to be orcs, Nick. Next one, season 2, parasites and orcs. That's orcs with parasites. That's the tagline. Yes. Okay, so very cool. So next question, getting more into things that we like. What would you like to see more about? And I guess this might be jumping in because we haven't really talked about what is actually going on in these 15 chapters.
Maybe we should just do a
quick summary, like nobody knows what we're talking about.
What is happening here?
What would in these first 15 we get little like nuggets of interesting things that are going to come up later, like like the I'm going to pronounce it wrong too, the alien race that's not orcs, we'll say that, and like the sisters of Tria, the laughing dogs, different things, like the laughing dogs, the mercenary group, and then the sisters of Tria, I guess, are like I actually got a very Game of Thrones vibe with that, or Song of Ice and Fire vibe, like the Sisters of Silence, like they're medics and they take care of the dead remains. I kind of got a vibe of that, but I don't know. So what would you like to get more of in the upcoming chapters?
Okay, I'm aware I'm going to step on one of your other questions now. It's okay. It's fine.
It's okay. We'll do it.
Right. So I've mentioned them already. I want to know more about the Ungoli. I still don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I want to know more about the Ungoli. And I also want to know more about the Queen. Because in episode 1, at the end, our characters race forward and they're like, for the queen. And I've noted down, who is she? She feels important.
So important. I actually wrote the exact same thing when I was reading it. I was like, ooh, who's the queen? We don't know. Who is she? Is she important? Is she not?
And we were jokingly saying before we went live, we're like, wouldn't it be funny if we've like think we're going on about the queen and how she's going to be so important, and she's just like the background character who does nothing.
Not even a thing anymore. Yeah.
Ungoli. Yeah. We're saying it right.
Oh, good. That's awesome. So keeping up with the queen, this story has a lot of in addition to a wide diverse cast of characters, we also have a class system where we have like nobles, and we have the soldiers and the mages, and there seems to be a hierarchy. But also like some nobles have jobs. Like there's Andrus, if I'm pronouncing that right, who's a noble in Rufus's squad, I believe. And then later, I think chapter 14 or even 15, there's a medic or emergency personnel. I think her name is Laura. I'm so sorry if I got that wrong. I did not write down her name, but nobility also. So what do you see here as like how do these classes and this kind of, some of them we know they're nobles and they act like the stereotypical noble of not being helpful and just ordering people around, and we know Rufus does not like nobles for very good reasons, no spoilers, but very good reasons. But then you have these others who are trying to actually like do a good job at leading or taking care of people. So what do you how do you think that enhances these characters?
I'm just going to go back to that scene that you mentioned with Rufus in the medical bay.
Yeah.
And he's talking about the med staff having these non-slip boots with stabilizing tech. Mm-hmm. And he says, I thought this stuff was only for nobles, soldiers, and it's only for nobles and soldiers. And she says, and emergency staff. And he's surprised that nobles give it out to anyone at all. And I put, nobles sound like dicks.
Yeah.
And then I put, the med person is noble born. Awkward.
Awkward. Yeah. And,
but I'd like to think.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I like to think Lauren. We go with Lauren for her name.
We'll go with Lauren. That's fine. Yes.
I like to think that maybe not all nobles need jobs, but she's drawn to taking care of people, maybe. And maybe that's why the other guy, Andrus, is drawn to being in the squad with Rufus. Mm-hmm. Just to give, maybe it's like their way of giving something back. Mm-hmm. Could be completely wrong.
Could be, but I like that answer. I do. What? I like that answer. I
just realized, what was the question? Did I answer?
I don't even know. Social equity. What is it?
Oh yeah.
Does it exist here? Yeah, we can.
No, I reject your question. I'm just going to say what I want.
I'm just going to say what I want. Exactly. That's how we do. So going back to sort of to give a bit more context for people watching this, this story has a lot of different elements in it. What genre would you classify it as? I know Mythrill has its own, like, they got like the hashtag thing or tag thing going on, but how would you like, what genre would you assign this book?
My super simple answer is, you get sci-fi / fantasy. Mm-hmm. Just remove that slash. Just sci-fi fantasy.
I love
That's
that.
what it is.
Yes, I love
Knights in space.
Knights in space. Yes. Yes, I love that. I think, and that's different from science fantasy. I feel like, which is another subgenre, but that's mainly more fantasy, which I don't know. For some reason, I'm getting a picture of a rainforest and then like futuristic buildings in a rainforest. I don't know why rainforests are magic.
Say, it's all the creatures.
All the
Tying it
creatures,
back.
all the worms in the ground.
Yep.
They burrow in your skin. But yeah, it definitely I like that. Yeah, sci-fi fantasy. The end. That's what we have. Okay, so let's talk about fight scenes then.
Okay.
We've got a lot going on in these first 15 chapters. First of all, do you feel like they are realistic and compelling? Like, do you really feel for the characters when you see that they're in peril?
I did. And so as it's like on an app, so you're reading it on your phone, whenever it got to like a actiony bit, do you find that you scroll through quicker?
Yeah, I'm just like, oh my god, what?
So, what now?
Yes.
And there's a couple of times with a couple of different characters where they wake up and you kind of think, oh no, are they all alone after what happened? I'm trying to say what after what happened without saying what happened.
I'm like, what did happen?
What did happen?
I just read it. Like, what did happen? Yes, and
so
I mean,
you kind of see it from the like knight military kind of point of view, and then you see it from the, I want to say, gardener's point of view. Is she a gardener or a botanist? I forgot her name. It is.
Is it? Oh God, Bryn.
Bryn.
Yes. Bryn, and another noble with her, Karin. I can't read my own handwriting, but yeah, we have another noble like playing around in the dirt, getting worms.
Yep. So that's another one that seems to have a job. So now I'm like, maybe they all have jobs.
Maybe they do all have jobs.
That's ruined my theory from earlier. Where I was like, no, these ones are nice. They just want to help.
Like everyone has jobs. Maybe that's why the queen does everything. So the other nobles, like they have nothing to do. So they go work with they go do jobs that everybody else does because they can't actually do anything. Because the queen could be like super control freak. Maybe
the queen's like back at a palace or whatever, like doing the hoovering, dusting, cooking. You lot, get out of my castle.
These stairs aren't gonna scrub themselves.
Sorry, Nate.
Yes, we're very sorry. This is a very serious book.
It is. It's not all serious though. There was a little bit of humor that I really liked.
Okay.
To the first episode where we met Bryn, which was episode 3. I'm going to pretend that this is all in my head and like, oh yeah, I think it was episode 3. I didn't just read it from my notes. There is a character who is called something. What's he called?
Is it Osmond? Is it Osmond?
Yes.
The older guy?
Yes.
I think that was Osmond.
And like he needs his medication.
Yeah.
And instead of picking up his meds, he's picked up a lipstick. And he's like, at least I'm ready to go out later.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that.
I did too. I thought that was so cute because I've actually like seen people do that. I mean, I do that before I could have like my own medication. Like, oh no, this is chapstick. I can't do this. But I think that that kind of also made me think like, okay, so there's lipstick in space. Okay. So what are your thoughts on that? Lipstick in space? Like, what color?
I didn't know I was going to be asked about lipstick in space. I feel underprepared.
On the spot. Yeah, there will be a quiz, remember.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was about the threadworm.
All quizzes. Doesn't matter. We're in trouble.
Color-wise, I think it should be sparkly.
Sparkly? I was kind of thinking with like a gunmetal gray kind of thing, maybe to like match the hull on your date with a noble. He's just gotten off work as a janitor. Yes. Very cool. Okay, so do you want to ask a question, or should I keep going down my list? Or wait, no, we haven't gotten done with the fight scenes. I'm so sorry.
Oh, sorry.
So we have these the power swords and the shields and these gems, and I really love the the images on the shields. That's like the house symbols.
I have that note as well.
Yeah.
For the void worm.
Yes. And so the invading force that they're fighting, first of all, like boarding a ship, I thought that was super cool. Like right out the gate, we've got people coming in from space. Like, how do they do that? Like, I'm thinking like, like air pressure's gone, and like, everything's like, in the movies where there's that whooshing, when something like cuts in and all the air is going out. So that's really cool. But these people who are attacking, they've blotted out their symbol, and we get little teases of, okay, there's some sort of rebellion. There are these insert other word for rebellion here, rebels. How do you think? Like, what do you think that's about?
That's a good question. So the fact that they're covering up their symbol makes me think that maybe the like noble at the head of the rebellion is still like hiding in plain sight. So maybe he or she could be on board that ship or on board another like loyal ship somewhere.
Wow, that is a really, really good. I love that. That is a really good observation. Like, I would not have thought of that at all. That I like that. That is amazing.
Because like, if they've already gone over to the dark side, assuming the rebels are the baddies, because we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah. If they'd already gone over, then why would they hide their identity?
That's a good question. It's a very good question.
Maybe it's the Queen. It's the Queen. She's like, I'm sick of cleaning this palace.
Rebel. I hate. Who's running this place? This is terrible.
I'm going to start my own rebellion and write a strongly worded letter to the leader. Oh, it's me.
It's me. Dear self. Dear self, you suck.
Stop dusting and run your queendom.
So, getting in. So, can we talk more about characters that we know about for a second? This is I think my last question. Or no, I have two more questions. So in chapter 14, and this is like getting back to like personality reveals and all that. There's a very emotional moment where one of the strong characters we see is like, being very like in a very emotionally vulnerable state. And do you think like how did that make you feel like after? Yes. Angry twinkling. Yes. Yes, do it. But yeah, when characters have these moments that are like out of character, they're not out of character because it follows with what happened, but it's like a different side, I guess, that we see. How did you like that?
So I'm just going to check I'm thinking of this right scene. Was that with Rufus and his wife?
And his wife, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed that because previously for Rufus, we'd seen him be like this typical knight kind of military character who's very strong, he knows what he's doing. And to see him, spoilers, mourn for some of his crew was...
Some...
Yeah, I didn't say which of his crew.
Yeah. How many? I'm trying to think body count now. 3, 4? 3?
I think there's more, isn't there?
3, 4, maybe more.
Checking the chat to see if Nate.
Like, who's actually read this and who knows?
But yeah,
Yeah,
I thought it brought a very human element to him.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree as well. And I was almost surprised by it in a way, because I mean, yes, there was like concern there, and after, this character just got through like, some really heavy shit, like lots of, like running from place to place, like fighting, adrenaline's up, like you're, high alert, like, and then having you're just having this loss thrown at you, and then the fear that, sorry if this is a spoiler, that he couldn't find his wife
Yeah,
after that, and then everything's okay. I mean, aside from the people who died, they're
not
not
so great
okay,
for
but
them.
yeah, not so good for them, but he's okay. And then you have this, like this reaction, which, I mean, that's kind of like me, like in the moment, like if there's I almost said a danger, never been in danger. If there's like a disaster going on, I'm like, okay, calm, cool, collected. And then like the next day, I'm like in a ball on the floor crying. Just because.
Yeah,
So, oh yeah. And Nate's comment, showing hard and soft sides of characters, especially soldiers, is really important to me. Even the strongest people can't be strong all the time. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
We appreciated it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that was quite good. All right, so last question for me. What is your favorite quote from
Ooh. I have
from
said
these
two of my
chapters so
favorites.
far? Okay.
Um,
We'll see if our favorite quotes match.
Let me just check my notes. Bear with me a second.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've said my Percival one. Thank you for doing like hold music.
Jeopardy. Jeopardy.
Found it. So yes, it's in episode 12, which is called Another Scry. I actually wrote down the title for that one.
Oh, good job.
So this is from the point of view of Kodama. And he says when they're going off doing their scrying thing, which is this mixture of magic and technology, as far as I can tell. There's like a scrying console thing, but I'm pretty sure there's magic too. And he says like it's easier to cast off the body when it's in pain, and he was like worried about coming back to himself after going scrying. And I liked that. Well,
yeah.
I don't think I'd like that if I was living it.
No.
I just
No.
imagine like he was in a lot of pain, and then he's just having like this out of body experience, and it could just go on forever. And there was a bit in one of the episodes before where he's talking to the younger guy, Orin, yeah. And he's talking about this legendary archmage who was scrying but never returned to his body, and that happened like 600 years before that. So yeah, I liked that. And that was also when we had our first mention of the Ungoli.
Yes.
And I think we got the lore card then. So level up.
Yes. I wonder if we're gonna see like a tie-in to that later, if that consciousness is still
just floating around,
floating out there, or maybe that consciousness found a receptacle to
rebels.
Rebel, maybe, or it's the queen.
It's the queen.
Okay.
What was your favorite quote?
My favorite quote was I feel really bad now, and this shows how unobservant I am, is when I was reading it, I just paid attention to the chapter headings. I didn't realize they actually had titles. I was just like, oh, Rufus. Okay. Kodama. Okay. So now I know they have titles. There's one of the earlier chapters, but it's in the middle of one of the early fights, and Rufus is remembering something that his old drill instructor said, and And it goes, if you lose your weapon, I'm not going to. If you lose your weapon, Othorak the Dark Hand had warned, someone will stab you with their own, and you will bleed out on the deck. You will fail your lord, you will fail your house, you'll fail your squad, and you'll fail yourself. And I just love that. Like, someone's gonna stab you with their own. Like, you know, don't lose your weapon. Don't let go.
It's
I
good
thought
advice,
that was
though.
yes, it is very good advice. Very good advice. You would think it would be common sense, but
Yeah.
you know,
In the heat of the moment, you might just let your weapon slip out your fingers.
yeah. And then sorry if this is a spoiler too, he actually uses that to like do a feint. And so he drops his weapon and then picks it up again and stabs, and he did not get stabbed. At least I don't think he got stabbed. He didn't get stabbed then. No, he didn't get stabbed. Okay. I'm like,
No.
like, did I get that right?
He was injured, wasn't he?
Yes,
point,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
So, speaking of injuries,
Okay.
The like medical bay bit, we have two sets of characters who like find their way to and from the medical bay, and it made me wonder, how big is this ship, because both of them have to use a map either to get there or to get back to their own apartment. So I had like this vision that the ship is like the size of a city or something. What did you think?
I found that really. And then there's another Warhammer 40K vibe thing with like the giant hive cities, and like, you know, you think you're in this really small space, but there's like, you know, it's like a planet-sized city.
Or perhaps they're new to the ship. Everybody's new.
Huh. Now that's interesting, because then how did they get there? Because we don't like, reading it, I feel like the ship's been flying around in space for a long time, hasn't maybe necessarily like landed anywhere or docked anywhere. We're not sure at this point if there's any like space stations, or I mean, there has to be something, because how do they get fuel? Or maybe they're just going on inertia. It's like, okay, the next star is coming up here. If
we're just floating along.
Floating along. Everybody lean to the left so that we go left.
Everybody run over this side. Run over the side.
Run over that side. Yeah, so maybe part of it is that. I think also just, and this might go back to like the scrying and the magic, and maybe there's parts of the ship that are like cut off from each other possibly, or there's some sort of like terrain shift maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know if that makes any kind of sense, but I think like, why do people usually need a map? Either they get lost, or if there's something, I think there's something more going on with that. I don't think it's just the ship is huge.
Corridors suddenly get closed down and you could only find which ones are open on the map.
Yeah, like take a detour.
Yeah.
Like, where's it? That yeah, could be that.
So it's sat nav for you.
Yeah, rerouting.
Yes.
Yeah, but I thought that was very interesting too. I think just the right amount of detail with that, so we can kind of speculate.
Just a little hint, and you think,
little hints of stuff. Yes.
And I liked it when the gravity was off, and I think it was Rufus just floating along, just float back home,
floating home. Yeah, and I thought that was described really well. I think, you know, one of the gravity and weightlessness, like especially in movies, like when you get it right, it's good, but there's so many ways like you could get it wrong and it doesn't, you know, it just doesn't seem natural. But like, I really like that.
Cool. So another question I have, and I feel like maybe we should have started with this. Who is your favorite character?
Man. Oh gosh, the Queen. No, I do like Percival a lot. I like Rufus. I like Eska. Like pretty much everybody in Rufus's squad. I liked, and I'm interested in more about Andrus and what his role is and what sort of his goals are now that Rufus had that moment where, oh, he's a noble as well. And so that's I think, and of course there's the Osmond with his medication. It's just, I just love. So yes it can.
The Queen.
Actually, yes it can. Yes it can.
For me, I've got two that really stood out for me, other than Percival, who I did love. Kodama, like you said earlier, I just love that idea of this older guy who's, I'd imagine he's been doing this a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine like he turns to the younger guy sometimes and just goes, I'm getting too old for this shit. And then they go off scrying again.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what happens with him. And the other character that I find really interesting is Bryn, the gardener. I keep calling her a gardener. Is she a gardener?
I think so. She was gardening when everything went down.
Yeah.
So
I like her because she doesn't seem to be tied into any of like the big story that's happening. Like she's not military. She's not part of the scrying team. So her world is like pretty small. It's just like in that lab with those normal people doing their normal things, and then suddenly all hell breaks loose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I thought that was interesting how we get these glimpses, like the character POV shift is very before Kodama literally says, I'm getting too old for this. Yeah, I'm actually very suspicious of Kodama. I don't know why. I think like it's his experience and his authority. I don't know, I just get that vibe that like he's doing something that
Rebellion.
maybe he's,
is he a noble? I don't think he's a noble.
I don't know.
He might be part of the rebellion though.
He might. Yeah. There's some. I get a vibe. I don't know why. I just get that vibe that he's got something else going on.
Interesting. How did you find all the different points of views? So we had like some chapters coming from episodes. I'm using the two interchangeably.
Yeah.
Some coming from Rufus, some coming from Kodama, some coming from Bryn. Did you like that?
I think so. Overall, yes. I definitely like third person POV with multiple points of view. I thought it was very like you said with Bryn, we go from this like this big combat scene where there's like the ship is in peril, there's holes in it, no, there might not be holes in the ship, but people have come onto the ship and that's not good. And then you have the the reaction to that from a different side. So yeah, I think for this story it definitely works. So and I enjoyed that. I think it like gave a more complete picture.
Exactly, yeah. That's my answer too. Have I done all my questions? Let me check. I've done all my list of questions. I'm just going to check to see if I put any other notes in my thing, like, who is the Queen? How many more mentions of the Queen can we get before
Nate.
we finish?
But I've got one.
Okay, you go.
Okay, so I guess this is an obvious one, but what do you think's gonna happen next?
Do you want like me just to speculate, or me to say that I know something that's coming up because I read ahead?
Oh, yeah, you've read more. That's right. Oh, yeah.
I only read ahead like 5 more episodes, I think.
Okay.
But I'm very excited because we're gonna get some Ungoli fun.
Okay. Very cool. So from your
the Queen is Ungoli. No. She might be.
We don't know. What so from where you stopped, I guess, without giving spoilers or however you want to do it, what happens next from where you stopped at? What do you think is going to happen? Like, and you can answer grand scheme or micro, doesn't matter.
I'm going to answer for like one part, like the bit that really interests me. And I actually messaged Nate about it on Discord after I started reading those parts. And it's just the way that the Ungoli society works, and you get to get into the heads of a couple of different characters who are not human, so Ungoli characters. And yeah, it's really exciting. And I love the like world building he's done for that part. But this is all for another episode of What Even Is This?
Yes, we're not gonna jump ahead. All right, is there anything that, like, what really stood out? I know we've talked about a lot of stuff that stands out and that really works really, really well as story element. We've got characters, we've got the setting, we've got everything. What has stuck with you so far, whether it's like an image or a scene, or what is stuck with you that you just keep going back to every time you think of this book?
There's a few bits, but like I mentioned before, when Kodama's telling that story of the archmage who's just floating around, whose consciousness could be just floating around in space, but his body is, I think it was kept alive for a while. I can't remember, but yeah, that sticks out in my head, because you think, if his consciousness is conscious that his body has just been left somewhere, is he trying to get back to that? And is he even going to be mentioned again in the book? Am I just going to be left with no closure? Is he just going to be floating around in my brain forever?
Yeah, that's where he is.
He's in my brain.
You found him. You found him. So good. Yeah, that is super. That is just so fascinating. Like, what must that feel like? That kind of experience of just existing, but like not.
So would you be scared, or are you? Is it peaceful?
Do you get used to it? Like, that's interesting. I don't know.
And could, like, people who are scrying, could they see him? Ooh. If he happened to float, do a little drive by?
I say like, hello. Yeah. I don't know. That's interesting. I would like to see that, though, just to see like people's reactions. Like, it's like turns into like this ghost, or like, the bedtime story, like, oh, if you if you stay out past curfew, and next time you go scrying, he's gonna get you.
And the other thing that sticks in my mind is the whole rebellion thing and who's behind it. I'd like to think we find out who by the end of season 1. I don't know. I haven't read that far yet, but I'm hoping we find out who is behind it.
Yeah, that would be interesting. We have a lot of material to get through there, thankfully. So hopefully we'll find out something.
I think there's 47. Is it 47 episodes?
40, yeah, I think 47 right now. Yeah. For me, like, what really stuck with me is one of the characters, and I've lost her name again, but she's talking about how horrible it would be. Like, I should have wrote it down, but like, if it was something with the ship, you know what? Never mind. Redact. Never mind. I'll mention it later. I can't. I lost my train of thought with that one. But it was something about claustrophobia, and I was gonna say something really, really like poignant, and then it just left my brain. So sorry, Lou.
That's like me earlier when you said about the quote thing, because there was another quote, and I'm sure I noted it down, but I can't remember it. I can't find it.
That's okay.
This is a good ending to the episode. I feel like I can't remember what's happening.
What even is this?
That's why we've called it this. What even is this?
But in a good way. Like, yes. It's in a good way. No. But yeah. I think we've combed through chapters 1 through 15 pretty well. Oh, there was a scene where Bryn could start out terrified. Yes, that's it. Yes. Thank you, author of the book. Yes.
I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, but she says like how horrible it would be to be out and because it's so vast. That's right. There's no sky. Like there's no ceiling, there's no nothing. It's just out there. And that could tie into that, our lost scryer friend, he's living that, and to her that's absolutely terrifying. So I thought that was interesting. That's kind of stuck with me, like Bryn's fear of the magnitude of space is stuck with me quite a bit.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, thank you, Nate.
Thank you, Nate. I don't have any more questions.
Yeah, neither do I. No, I think we're good.
Does anybody in the comments section have anything?
Yeah.
Let's see. Silence.
Silent crickets. They've all gone.
Yeah. It still says there's 6 people there.
Oh wow.
Maybe they're all frantically typing.
Yeah.
They're essay questions.
Yes.
Oh,
good.
Okay, so I think that's it. While I think we still have Nate maybe floating around somewhere, like the scrying guy. Nate, if you're still there, would you be up for coming on the next one with us?
Yeah.
Well, we talk about what we theorize about your story, and then you go, no, it's not the Queen. Stop talking about the Queen.
But look, listen. Like, where even is she?
Yay!
Oh, yay! Yeah.
Thank you, Nate.
Awesome.
Oh,
Heard it. Oh no. Yeah.
Did I know that?
Real? Is that real? Or are you just like teasing? Okay.
See, now I'm thinking, I think there's a lore card. Is there a lore card? And we've just been like making stuff up.
Oh my god.
On the lore card.
So professional over here.
And it very clearly says the Queen does not do her own cleaning.
She was not involved in any rebellions.
There is.
Oh wow. What chapter is that from?
Wow. I totally didn't see that come up.
What chapter is that?
I don't know. I just went to the main page.
Oh, you can get the comment cards before you read the chapter? What?
Yeah.
Frantically looks at app.
And we mentioned, I don't know if you can see that, but that's what an Ungoli looks like. How cool is that?
Yeah, this artwork is just phenomenal. Like the cover is beautiful, and this artwork is just gorgeous.
It's amazing.
Your collection. Oh, I have not unlocked it. So
Ooh,
I only have 4. I've got Rufus, the Ungoli, Void Plate, and Lord Bostier. Those are the only lore cards I got.
I just did a huge spoiler. In that case, sorry.
Oh, well,
look at this card.
It's fine. It's fine. I did like that pose on the throne, though. She looked very regal, very serious. Pearl. Okay.
Yes, Pearl.
Sweet. Your collection will main survey from episode you've read after you've tapped on the card while reading. Yeah. But I just haven't gotten far enough yet. To read more, do more reading.
Or maybe you just didn't tap it. Maybe I did tap. Maybe I tapped it the first time I read it and then I forgot the second time.
I will look into that. I will look
anyway,
into
so
that.
I feel like we've been random enough for one evening
Yes.
or afternoon, depending on where you are. Thank you everyone for joining us. I hope we haven't spoilt the first 15 episodes too much. If you haven't read it, I hope you go and read it and join us for the next one where we get a bit further. I think we're planning 3 of these. Is that right?
Yeah. So
we'll probably go up to
16
like
through whatever 25,
30-ish.
30,
Oh,
yeah, sure.
yeah.
16 to 30. That sounds good.
So yeah, join us next time for some Ungoli fun.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lou. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching.
And thank you, Jessa. And everyone go and check out Jessa's stuff. Check out her website and her socials and all that stuff. And after this is done, at some point tomorrow, I'll put all the links in the description when I'm organized.
Very cool. Thank you.
Cool. So thank you all. And bye.
Bye. Oh, wait. No, Lou, you got to say your outro. Stay delicious. You gotta do delicious.
Oh, yes. Stay delicious.
Oh, dude, love it.
You know, all these, I think a lot of these people are just here for Nate's book. They're not going to know what that is.
What even is this?
I think it was a good title for this one.
Yeah.
What even is this?
Yeah, I love this segment. Like this should be your thing, because I think you really are a good like book reviewer. Like I've enjoyed all the videos that I've watched of you, and I think that's, you know, you got you got this great spin on where it's going. Like, what even is this? It's very good. I think it's gonna work. We're doing it again. And I'm not just saying that because I want to keep talking to you and do another one of these. No, not selfish at all.
We can pick some more stuff off the app.
Yeah.
When we're done with On in the Dark, we can just keep doing stuff off the app.
Yeah. Or we could do like a comparison. Like we could do like a Kindle Vella one and see like if there's any differences, like format wise.
Yeah.
I don't know. That would probably be really boring. People just want the story.
Anyway, I think we should really go now.
Yeah, let's this is the end now. Okay.
It's like bye. Oh, did you know?
My fault. I'm sorry. Okay, so for reals this time.
For reals now.
We're ending chapters 1 through 15. Fantastic. Honor in the Dark. Read it. It's wonderful. Okay. Bye.